Hi, I'm Chef Gail Sokol and welcome to my kitchen. Today we're making something delicious and decadent and easy to make, and it's gluten-free. So if you don't or can't eat gluten, this is the tart for you. It is a cashew coconut or a coconut cashew chocolate tart, and it's decadent and it's delicious and it's super easy. So the first thing we're going to do is preheat our oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and we only need the oven for like 10 minutes, and that's it. And I have a 10-inch false bottom tart pan that I have sprayed with nonstick cooking spray, and I always put it on a sheet pan because you know it's got a false bottom, so you don't want to end up losing your crust. So in a bowl, I have pulsed in a food processor 1 3/4 cups of cashews. I took whole cashews. If they're salted, that's fine. It might give a little sweet, salty taste. That's fine. Mine are salted. And I just pulsed them till I got some sort of little chunks in there, okay? I also have 1/4 cup plus a tablespoon of dark brown sugar. I pulsed that in there as well because I didn't want to make cashew butter. So because nuts have so much oil in them, you always want to pulse them with something like either a flour or part of the sugar in your recipe. So there's dark brown sugar and the cashews. 4 tablespoons of unsalted melted butter, and I'm going to pour that in there. And that is our crust, folks. That's it. So I'm going to mix this up. And it's going to look like wet cashew sand. Have you ever gone to a beach and had cashew sand with big chunks? And it's going to be delicious. So our crust is really, it's nutty. It's just nutty and a little sweet. So I'm going to bring my pan over. I'm going to pour my delicious butter-covered nuts in there. And you're just going to press this out. And we're just going to bake it for about 10 minutes in the oven at 350 degrees, like I said before. So you're just going to push this on the bottom and up the sides and put it in the middle rack of your oven for 10 minutes. And I'll see you back. So my nut crust came out of the oven. I've allowed it to cool a little bit, but it doesn't have to be at room temperature for you to move on to the next step. And it's so exciting. The next step is a white chocolate coconut filling. Oh, yum! So I have 1/2 cup plus 2 tablespoons of cream of coconut. You know, that's the stuff that you put in a pina colada. It's not coconut milk. It's a lot richer. And I have it melting over my stove. I'm going to get it almost to a simmer, little bubbles around it. I'm going to put 5 tablespoons of room temperature butter in it. We're basically making a white chocolate ganache, but without the heavy cream. We're using cream of coconut instead. Can't argue with that, right? It's so good. So I'm going to just let that melt, the butter melt. I'm going to let the cream of coconut come up to temperature. It smells amazing in here. Now, on the side, just to enrich it a little, I have 5 tablespoons of whole fat sour cream, 1 teaspoon coconut extract, just to zing it with extra coconut, okay? And then I have 1/2 cup plus 2 tablespoons chopped high quality white chocolate. And that means that the fat for that white chocolate that you purchase should be cocoa butter and not some sort of hydrogenated or vegetable fat. All right. So you want to get it nice and hot, and I can feel it's getting there. You want it not to bubble up at you, but just to get a little bit of some bubbles on the side. So that's a bare simmer. My butter's melted. I'm waiting for the bubbles to come up. There they are. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off the heat once the bubbles come. And I'm going to show you once I put in my chocolate. You want to put the chocolate in first, not the sour cream. So I see some bubbles now. So I'm going to turn off my heat. So if you can see the bubbles, I'm going to shut my heat off. This is induction, so the heat goes off immediately. So I would like you to take this off the heat. If you do not have an induction, just pull it off and then let your chocolate melt and whisk it gently. And it will become this incredible concoction. And it will be a little bit thinner, but once you chill it, because at this point we're going to chill the filling for about an hour, and then we're going to put a dark chocolate covering on top. So dark chocolate ganache on top. Yum, yum, yum. Oh, I can't wait, because when you cut into it, oh my gosh, your friends and family are going to see the nut crust and then the white filling and then the dark topping. It's a showstopper. All right, so everything is melted. All right, and it looks beautiful and smooth. I'm going to move this over. And I'm going to put this, just to get this off the heat completely. And I'm going to put in some sour cream. That's 5 tablespoons, remember, of your whole fat sour cream. And if you can leave it at room temperature for a little bit, that would be really best, because it will actually dissolve into our beautiful cream of coconut concoction. And a teaspoon of our beautiful coconut extract. And then, yum, I have toasted some coconut. So I actually did 1.5 cups of lightly toasted coconut. Remember, it's not going to get any further cooking. So I'm going to take my whisk. Oh my gosh, it smells like I'm on a tropical island right now. It's so good. Oh, if you love coconut, this is screaming coconut. So I'm going to put my 1.5 cups, ooh, everywhere, into my saucepan. I'm going to mix that up, and you can see it's thin. It's going to thicken up. All right, you see that? Because cream of coconut is usually a solid. White chocolate, when it solidifies with that cocoa butter is also a solid. So you're going to take this beautiful mixture and you're going to put it into your shell, and you're just going to spread it, and then into the fridge for about an hour. So my tart has been chilling, and it's not perfectly solidified because the coconut cream and the white chocolate need a little longer. But now we're going to make our beautiful ganache topping. So I have 5 tablespoons of heavy cream. I have 3.5 tablespoons of softened butter. And if it's not softened, you don't have to worry, because you're just going to melt it. 3.5 tablespoons of light corn syrup. It's going to give it a nice little sheen. Really pretty. And this is the light, not the dark. And you're going to actually bring this to a boil. And it won't take long. You're just going to get this to a boil. And once it comes to a boil, you're going to take it off the heat, and you're going to add 1 cup of high quality chocolate chips, bittersweet or dark, not milk. Milk is a little too sweet for this because there's a lot of sugar in this tart. So bittersweet gives a nice little, you know, just a little edge to it. Really, really nice. And then what I'm going to do is I have already melted about 1/3 cup of white chocolate over a double boiler. Okay, and I have that ready to go. And I have a parchment cone that I'm going to pipe over. Woo, there we go. We are ready to go. So we're going to shut this down, take it off the heat. And again, if you don't have induction, literally take it off the heat. And I'm just adding my chips, and I am going to whisk until the beautiful chocolate melts and it makes like this dark, beautiful ganache. And I'm going to pour it directly over my tart and spread it with an offset spatula, metal spatula, or you can even use a butter knife, whatever you want to use, or the back of a spoon. And you can see how beautiful it gets. It gets really nice. All right, so it's not totally melted yet, so you wait till it's melted and pour it on top, and you want it to go right over to the nuts, to the nut crust. And then once you're done with that, I am going to put my white chocolate. I have about 1/3 of a cup of the same high quality white chocolate that I used in my tart filling. I melted that over about 2 inches of hot water that I brought to a boil. I took it off the heat, and then I put a heat-proof bowl on top of that to melt. So that's your double boiler. All right. And you're just going to give this a minute because you don't want any bits of chocolate on there. You want it nice and smooth. And then when you're done pouring this, it's got to be done at the same time because you don't want the dark chocolate ganache to get hard. I'm going to use my parchment cone, and if you want to see how to make a parchment cone, I have a video on that so you can actually see how that's made. A little bit of geometry there. You have to use a right triangle with parchment paper, but it's a lot of fun to use. And if you have any chocolate in it, it's fun to just go and sort of push it into your mouth. All right, so we love it. We got it. All right, I'm going to get rid of my whisk. And I'm going to take a rubber spatula. I'm going to come over to my tart, and I'm going to just pour in a concentric circle. Okay, see what I'm doing? Just going to pour. Remember, it's not totally solidified yet, but it will be because we're going to chill it for a long time, but I just want to get it all over. It looks so pretty because you can see the white chocolate coconut filling. And then you see that dark contrast of the dark bittersweet chocolate. I love that. I love contrasts. Love it, love it, love it. And then what I'm going to do is take my offset and sort of gently, you don't want to get into the coconut, just go around. And you're going to leave this on your sheet pan. Don't take it off your sheet pan. Remember that false bottom. False bottoms are false, and they'll fall out from under you. So just move it around very gently. And then right away, we're going to put our white chocolate, melted white chocolate, which is also warm. If you see any air bubbles, just sort of pop them. I'm just going to go across. All right. And that's a perfect amount for this 10-inch beautiful tart. All right. And now I'm going to take this lovely chocolate, white chocolate. I'm going to take my double boiler off of here, the base of the hot water, get rid of it. And then make sure that you dry underneath this bowl because all that steam that melted the white chocolate is wet. And any type of water is sort of like the Wicked Witch of the West. It seizes it up. Now, you know what happened to her, right? So you're going to take your cone, you're going to put it, your parchment cone, put it in a glass. So you don't need to be an octopus. And just pour away. And you can do more chocolate if you want. This is going to be about right. And then what we're going to do is cut a larger hole because I don't want it to leak down into this little glass. So I'm going to take it and fold it. Okay. And fold it. And it's warm, which is fine, but it's very tiny hole. So you're going to take scissors and you're just going to open it up a little bit. And remember, it's going to come out, so make sure that you just keep that on the side. And then I'm just going to make stripes, okay? So just watch. I'm just going to make stripes. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. With a nice steady hand. Stripes. Stripes. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Because this chocolate underneath it is nice and warm and liquidy as well, you know, it's not hardened. Make them equidistant if you can. We're going to put a little je ne sais quoi in it. I will show you how. Very easy to do. And then you're going to, why am I talking with a French accent? I do not know. Then you're going to take a skewer or even a toothpick, and you're just going to go very, very lightly. Okay? And then back the other way. And back. You can only do this when both chocolates are liquefied. So if you wanted to put your dark chocolate in the fridge, you wouldn't be able to do this. So you're just going to go back and forth. So pretty. So pretty. You just want to clean that off each time. I usually have a paper towel and I forgot it. But that's okay. All right. Go one more time here. And now watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to I have some whole cashews, beautiful whole cashews. They can be salted or unsalted. And I'm just going to put one this way and one this way, because I think a tart or a cake should actually show what's in it. So you can see that this has nuts. This is a nutty tart, right? Made by a nutty chef. And this is so spectacular. It's such a beautiful presentation. Your friends and family will love it. It is gluten-free. It can be made any time of year. And if you don't like cashews, use a different nut. So if you're not nutty over cashews like I am, use a different nut. All right? Look how pretty. Look how pretty. And look how tropical. It's lovely. So I can't wait to see what it looks like when we cut it. Gorgeous cashew coconut chocolate tart has been chilled for several hours. And you know, dark chocolate and white chocolate, they have cocoa butter in it and they're solid when they're chilled. And the cream of coconut will get solid. So this is a gorgeous, beautiful tart to cut, and it will be so impressive. So I'm taking a large glass filled with very, very hot water. I have a very sharp knife, and we're going to cut into it and see what it looks like. I'm going to cut a big piece. Oh, I'm crunching through all those beautiful cashews. Okay, let's lift it up and reveal what it's going to look like. Oh my. Oh my. Is that the most lovely thing you've ever seen in your life? The most lovely thing you've ever seen in your life? It doesn't need whipped cream. It doesn't need ice cream. It needs nothing but a fork. Okay? You got to make this tart. Oh, it smells so tropical. You have got to become a subscriber, and I'm going to see you next time.